Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
Plus every night. Tonight there is breaking news. Just as we come on the air, there has been a deadly shooting on a college campus. The images coming in at this hour, police and federal agents racing to the scene. At least one student killed, another in critical condition. Also breaking tonight, the stunning images right here for the first time. Body camera video. Police moving in on the alleged CEO killer Luigi Mangione in that Pennsylvania McDonald's. This is the moment they approach him. What he then says to the police. Tonight, the plane crash on I-95 smashing into a car. Images from the scene and what we know so far. The life-threatening cold and dangerous driving tonight from the middle of the country right into the Northeast next. Cars and trucks already off highways tonight. Ginger Z is here with the forecast. Tonight, President Trump speaking, defending his work on the economy, giving himself an A++. And a new poll tonight, what Americans are now saying about the prices at the grocery store. Tonight, growing pressure, even some Republicans now calling on the president and the Pentagon to release the video of that controversial second deadly strike on that alleged drug boat that killed 2 survivors. The president says he has seen it and what he's now saying. Tonight, just in the new photo of a former Olympian, now an FBI fugitive tonight. The reward increased to $15 million. Tonight, the famous Grammy-nominated opera singer stabbed to death in his home, and the family member now under arrest. Where they have just banned social media for all children under the age of 16. This is making global headlines tonight. And our Made in America Christmas, we have heard from so many of you at home. Tonight, if you're looking for some heat, we've got the answer. Also, what we found behind this garage door. Hi, David. And you're not going to believe what our viewers have already done after last night's Made in America. This is good. From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World.
Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do.
Joining me now is senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, I think we know what the Crockett crew would do, but is that what a red state like Texas wants? A state that Donald Trump won by 13 percentage points last year?
I have a feeling the answer is no, Todd. I mean, this is an early Christmas gift for the Republican Party. I mean, whether you're John Cornyn, Ken Paxton, Wesley Hunt, as far as who her opponent will be from the GOP side, either way, you're looking at anywhere from a 10 to 15, maybe even 20-point victory for the GOP in Texas. And I don't even think that Crockett has any illusions of herself winning this race. I mean, this is a cartoon character who was mocked, for example, the sitting governor of Texas, who was paralyzed from the waist down. She called him Governor Hot Wheels in a speech one time. She openly wished for Elon Musk to be, quote, taken out. She called President Trump a Hitler wannabe. And of course, other cable news networks book her more than any other Democratic lawmaker just for that kind of provocative soundbite. So she's going to run, she's going to lose, and then most likely make the leap to television, whether it be the next co-host of The View, a permanent panelist on Abby Phillips' ridiculous CNN primetime show, or maybe Jen Psaki's co-host on MSNBC. This is an unserious candidate who values attention to herself more than anything else, guys, and that's what this run is all about. Not to win, just for the attention she's going to get for the next year. And boy, it's already coming, Carly and Todd.
Yeah, you mentioned the celebration by Republicans. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who you mentioned as well, saying Jasmine Crockett about to learn the hard way that most Texans are very different from her district, her base, and her values. She'll be pummeled for her progressive socialist agenda and get crushed by the Republican nominee for Senate. Texas AG Ken Paxton saying crazy Jasmine Crockett is going to lose by double digits in the general. Joe, mark my words, I don't know if she even makes it to the general. She's going up against a pastor in Texas in the primary on the Democratic side. Pastors have a tendency to do well in the Lone Star State. Back here in the tri-state, New York City mayoral-elect Zoran Mamdani has appointed Maisan Linen, a convicted armed robber, to his newly constructed safety transition team. Linen served 7 years for armed robbery convictions for taxi driver holdups in the late 90s. Joe, what message does this appointment send by the mayor-elect?
It says that I'm going to be soft on crime, and if you're a criminal, come work for me. I mean, this is so par for the course for Zoran Mamdani. I mean, he's never run a...
Turbulence this Tuesday night for Air Transat passengers. The cancelled flights, with pilots set to walk off the job in just hours.
It's very bad business.
The last-minute negotiations to avert a strike. The Protecting Victims Act.
It is not enough to simply punish bad actors on the back end of a tragedy.
The new law that aims to crack down on violence against women and safeguard children from predators. The family of an unarmed Quebec teenager shot dead by police launches a lawsuit. The accusations they're making. Plus, overboard.
I see a sweet source in the water.
The Canadian sailors saved from these frigid waters.
Global National with Donna Fraser.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news that will be good news for anyone holding Air Transat tickets. The airline says it has reached a tentative agreement with the pilots union that lifts the risk of a pilot strike just before the busy holiday season. But the negotiations did go down to the wire. The airline had already canceled a number of flights in preparation for a strike. Mike Armstrong is in Montreal following developments for us. Already canceled a number of flights in preparation for a strike. Mike Armstrong is in Montreal following developments for us.
After days of will they or won't they brinksmanship, some late-night negotiating, and a lot of confused passengers wandering around airports, Air Transat has finally struck a tentative deal with its pilots. What would have been the first pilot strike in the airline's 40-year history has been avoided. Both the company and the pilots union sent out press releases within seconds of each other this evening. The company's CEO is quoted as saying this is a complete overhaul of the pilots' collective agreement. She says she's aware that this period has created significant uncertainty and extends sincere apologies to customers whose flights were disrupted in recent days. The union, meantime, says the new deal, hammered out at the last minute, quote, meets the needs of today's profession, consistent with collective agreements and other ALPA-represented pilots groups. It says if the agreement is ratified, pilots will be major contributors to Air Transat's success and will play a vital role in helping the company recognize its growth strategy. Now, it did take nearly a year of negotiations to reach this new agreement, but there were analysts predicting an 11th hour deal. Air Transat's financial situation isn't strong. Lost more than $100 million in 2024, and a work stoppage, some have said, could have been potentially fatal for the company.
The airline is very bad for business. The airline loses lots of money if it has to cancel flights.
Good morning, it's 7 o'clock. Welcome to Mornings with Richard Frost.
With Sophie and Wilf, good morning from me as well. Let's get to it.
Social media now banned for under 16s in Australia. Could it pave the way for something similar here?
The crisis in maternity care laid bare. Women tell Sky News about their appalling experiences giving birth in the UK.
The NHS urges people to wear masks in public, saying the UK is facing a tidal wave of flu.
Also today, a storm Bram batters the UK with 90-mile-an-hour gusts and amber weather warnings in place.
We'll hear from a campaigner who says the UK's flood defences aren't up to the job.
Hello, good morning. Well, Australian children under the age of 16 have just had their first day without social media. It's after the country's ban came into effect. So the Australian government argues the move protects young people, and companies who don't comply now face some pretty hefty fines.
The Prime Minister told teenagers they should start a sport, learn an instrument, or read a book. Well, could it happen here as well? There are current plans for a ban. The UK government says it's important children are able to benefit safely from the digital world. But here is Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
This is indeed a proud day to be Australian, because make no mistake, this reform will change lives for Australian kids and allowing them to just have their childhood, for Australian parents enabling them to have greater peace of mind, but also for the global community who are looking at Australia and saying, well, if Australia can do it, why can't we?
Well, Nicole Johnson is in Sydney for us. Nicole, can see you surrounded by people. What's the reaction been?
Well, let's find out. It's been a huge day for Australian parents and kids. Their first day off social media apps officially, but it seems that a lot of kids are finding a way around it. What do you think, Felix? How's it affecting you?
Yeah, everyone's already got around it, so it's not really affecting me because I don't really have social media.
So how are kids getting around it? What are your friends doing?
Millions of young people lose access to their social media accounts. The government's world-first social media ban begins.
Australians should be proud that yes, we are leading the world. It will be difficult. There'll be challenges that we must.
Homes lost. Firefighters continue to battle a blaze on Tasmania's Upper East Coast. A woman in a critical condition after being assaulted and run over in Sydney's southwest. And a boost for Australia ahead of the third Ashes test with Pat Cummins and Usman Khawaja named in the 15-minute squad. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Joe O'Brien. Teenagers have been locked out of their social media accounts with world-first age restrictions coming into force. Hundreds of thousands of accounts have been shut down to a mix of frustration and support from children and their parents. The Prime Minister has hailed it as a proud day, but there are already signs that teens are getting around the rules.
From capital cities,
I've been blocked from Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, all of them, basically.
To small towns.
Says I can't find my account.
And Kirribilli House, the ban designed to get under 16s offline and touching girly here.
Make no mistake, this reform will change lives.
From today, 10 social media platforms must take reasonable steps to stop under 16s from holding an account. But day one of the rollout was always going to be messy. For some, very little has changed.
When I woke up this morning to check and see if anyone had been affected by the ban, essentially nobody was gone.
I find it very, very interesting that I haven't been banned off of most of them.
While some teens snuck through by accident, others like Andoni have tricks of their own.
I squinted up my eyes and face, looked at the camera, or covered up my teeth, and it worked. Just let me through.
This is Asia Now.
It's 3 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 12:30 in New Delhi, and 2 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Grecian, and at this hour, Cambodia withdraws from the SEA Games amid escalating border tensions with host Thailand, citing concerns about athlete safety. Fighting spreads to more parts of the disputed border between Thailand and Cambodia, at least 13 killed on both sides and hundreds of thousands forced to flee their homes. Australia begins enforcing a world-first social media ban for teens younger than 16. 10 major platforms ordered to shut youth accounts or face hefty fines. Cambodia has pulled its entire delegation from the SEA Games that's being held in Thailand amid a border dispute with the host nation. In a letter to the head of the Games Federation, the Secretary General of Cambodia's National Olympic Committee withdrew the team due to serious concerns and requests from families of athletes. He said it was for safety reasons and apologized for the early departure. This comes less than 12 hours after the Cambodian delegation attended the opening ceremony for the Games in Bangkok. For more, CNA's Alif Amshar looks at the withdrawal and its impacts on the Games.
The Cambodian delegation was at the opening ceremony last night where we were, and all signs pointed to a positive participation of the Cambodian delegation at the SEA Games. But what we know so far is that the Cambodian delegation pulled out entirely its 137 strong contingent comprising athletes and staff, and we've heard reports that they are leaving Bangkok for Phnom Penh tonight. In a statement addressed to the CEO of the SEA Games Federation, the team cited safety reasons amid escalating border tensions between the two countries, and it adds that due to serious concerns from the families of the athletes, they've requested for the athletes.
Africa News. The news.
Benin's President Patrice Talon meeting with cabinet ministers on Monday for the first time since Sunday's attempted coup. The government confirmed that airstrikes by Nigerian fighter jets helped thwart a bid by mutinying soldiers to seize the president. It said the short-lived coup left casualties among government forces and the mutinous troops. Abuja earlier acknowledged sending jets and ground forces to its much smaller neighbour to help restore order. Both are members of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The relationship that exists between Benin and this institution naturally allows the latter, while respecting the principles of sovereignty, of course, to contribute to maintaining stability, especially given the many similar events that have already occurred in West Africa. It has certainly learned from these experiences, and Benin was supportive of its intervention. Benin security forces have intensified the search for coup leader Colonel Tikri Pascal, who's on the run. The potential collapse of state order in Benin was central to Nigeria's rare military intervention abroad. Abuja has a strategic interest in defending the country's borders amid its own security crisis. Analysts say Nigeria was fearful instability in Benin would risk triggering cross-border insecurity, illicit trade and arms trafficking. Calm continued to reign in the streets of Benin for the second day after authorities thwarted an attempted military coup over the weekend. But the events have sparked numerous reactions, not only among neighboring countries and the regional bloc ECOWAS. The Secretary General of the UN also expressed his concerns over the events.
Our representative for West Africa and the Sahel, Leonardo Santos Shimao, is actively engaging with national authorities and other stakeholders, as well as regional and international partners, to support efforts to restore peace and stability in Benin. He reaffirmed our commitment to supporting national and regional institutions in safeguarding constitutional order in the country and across Benin, across the region. To this end, he's also working with ECOWAS and the African Union to promote a regional approach.
ECOWAS has been particularly active in offering assistance to Benin's authorities, notably sending troops in standby to the country during the coup attempt.
111 journalists, including 7 women, have been killed in 2025, according to the International Federation of Journalists (IFJ) annual report on journalists and media professionals killed in 2025. Launched ahead of Human Rights Day, the report findings highlight another highly lethal year for journalists and media workers, with 46% of the deaths occurring in Gaza, Palestine. 111 journalists were killed in 2025, 46% in the Middle East. Well, 46% in Gaza, 69 journalists who were killed in the Middle East, and more than 550 journalists who are still in prison. This is a figure that is not often put on the spotlight, and this is one of our greatest concerns.
Qui est assez peu mise en valeur malheureusement, mais c'est quand même un peu.
The report also shows 9 media workers were killed in Africa in 2025, Once again, Sudan was the epicenter of journalist killings in the region, accounting to 6 of the deaths. Elsewhere, the body also recorded 1 killing each in
You're watching The World Today here on France 24. I'm Stuart. Taking with us the headlines today. In a world first, under 16 shut out of social media. This in Australia. Supporters say it's about families taking back power from tech giants and giving children back their childhood. Reporting the news, and Charles will discuss the issue in the business news as well in 15 minutes. Confirmation after much confusion that the Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who lives in hiding, will not be in Oslo today to receive her Nobel Peace Prize in person. Her whereabouts unknown, but her daughter will accept it on her behalf. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he expects to send Washington today revised proposals on ending the war. That is, he also says he's ready to hold elections if security can be guaranteed. Talk to our Ukraine correspondent Gulliver Crack shortly. Also coming up here today, 2 prospective guests. The first, the head of the human rights organisation, the Centre for Civil Liberties Ukraine. The centre itself winning the 2022 Nobel Peace Prize. She worked tirelessly to speak on peace and documenting war crimes in Ukraine. Alexandra Markovich with me in half past time. And in just over an hour's time, a doctor who spent 20 years working in Gaza, mostly for Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, of course. He'll give us a first-hand account of what it's been like working in hospitals in the Gaza Strip. And as you know, we do like to lighten food a little bit for you. This is one for dog lovers, in fact. We're going to be meeting Ozzy. He is a new Guinness World Record holder for having the longest tongue on a living dog.
This is DW News, live from Berlin. Growing numbers of people flee the fighting between Thailand and Cambodia. Officials from the 2 countries say that 500,000 people have now fled days of clashes along the disputed border. More than a dozen people have been killed since a U.S.-brokered truce collapsed. Also coming up, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says that he is prepared to consider wartime elections if security can be guaranteed. After consulting European allies, he says that Kyiv needs more time to respond to a U.S. plan to end the war with Russia. And the world's first social media ban for under 16s takes effect in Australia. The government says that it is to protect their well-being, but some young people say it violates their rights.
Thank you for watching Amish Shakil 5858. I am Amish Shakil. I hope you will visit again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.